And now to Decision 2025. The ballots are cast, the message clear. In New Jersey's race for governor, Democrat Mikie Sherrill rises from the pack, securing the nomination. You can see there.
By 34%, Mikie Sherrill. And in November, she will go up against Jack Ciattarelli. He won the primary on the Republican side. Jack Ciattarelli was 68% of the vote. And a rematch of ideas, visions, and a fight for New Jersey's future. Both of those races were called before 9 o'clock tonight, less than an hour after polls closed.
NBC 10 is your decision station. We're monitoring all of the results on air and online. You see the QR code on your screen. You can scan that for real-time results right at your fingertips. Let's turn now to NBC 10's Mayk. She's joining us now from the newsroom with how the races are looking now. Lauren.
Fred and Jacqueline, as these results were coming in, we are getting a fuller picture of how these candidates secured their nomination and what lies ahead for them in the general election and what it means for what voters want. Now, both candidates tonight addressed their supporters, talking about change, their opponents, and what they would bring to New Jersey.
We are sending a message because it's usually the people who have something to prove that work the hardest. Hey, New Jersey, I've got something to prove. Tonight, I pledge to you, we're going to build something worthy of our state and worthy of our kids.
It's time for a change. It's time for bold, competent, and serious leadership. Leadership determined to fix our state. It's time for a Jersey guy who understands what people are up against every single day.
And both Jack Ciattarelli and Mikie Sherrill tonight also talked about affordability. So expect to hear more about that in the coming months as we head toward the general election. So let's take a moment and take a closer look at how they did this and what that means for what's ahead. First, the Republican side. You can see this is all red here. That's the color assigned to Jack Ciattarelli for tonight. He was dominant all across New Jersey. Now, that is a good thing for him in terms of unifying his party heading into the general election. Of course, he has also been here before. He was the Republican nominee 4 years ago, coming very close to Governor Phil Murphy, but not quite close enough to win. So the question now is, will he be able to boost those numbers across the state of New Jersey? And will he be able to take some pages from President Trump's playbook in 2024 when he did well in places like Passaic County up here? President Trump, of course, endorsed Jack Ciattarelli in that race. Now let's turn for a moment to the Democratic side, where Mikie Sherrill was victorious tonight. You see all this blue here. That's where she did well, where she had the most votes in those counties. Now, she did well in places like over here. This is where her congressional district is. But she also did well in parts of South Jersey, for example, in Camden County, in Burlington County. And that's good news for her in terms of the fact that she obviously has some voters down here who know who she is, who like her. She has contacts down here, and that could help her heading into a statewide race. Choosing her, Democrats also passed up some of the more progressive candidates in the race. They went with Mikie Sherrill, who is a former prosecutor and a Navy veteran as well. So tonight we also heard from Governor Phil Murphy, who has congratulated both Mikie Sherrill and Jack Ciattarelli as they now both head towards the general election, which we, of course, will be watching very closely and covering here at NBC 10. Guys, we'll throw it back to you in the studio.
All right, Lauren.